Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome for the special city council meeting. Roll call, please.
Weber.
Here.
Houston.
Here.
Hannah.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the budget hearing. Pursuant to the agenda, I'll now convene the public hearing on the proposed property tax levy for the fiscal year 2025. Are either of you two ladies going to speak on that?
We don't even know what it's about, so that's why we're here.
On the levy itself? Do you want to?
Yes.
So are you talking about the document that you received from the county?
Yeah.
So that's a new document that's required by the state. The state legislature decided to require that the county send that out. And that outlines what the tax rates are for all of the levy districts that affect your property. So it's got the cities on there, it's got the school districts on there, whoever else is there, it's all on there. It'll be on the back side that shows all of the different ones.
So we're only talking about the city part of that itself.
Is the 30% increase for city only, or is that for the school, the county, and the city?
Are you talking about the 30% increase in the note that's there?
On the property liability insurance cost?
So that's related strictly to property liability insurance for the city. We expect, what we've been hearing from our insurance brokers is that there will be a 30% increase over the next coming years because of insurance rates going up across the board. So we programmed that into the budget when we did the budget. That tax rate, the insurance tax rate is a separate levy.
Yes.
So we levied for that as a separate part of the overall city tax rate of the overall rate that we have.
19 change that.
19.53649, yeah.
Did they perhaps get a copy of what you put in the paper? I think that explained really well. I thought that did a nice job of explaining.
was
Very good.
That was very well done.
There's an article
Thank you.
that was written by our city manager that was in the Bulletin Journal on Saturday, which goes through all of how the calculations and why, because of what the state has done in terms of rollbacks and stuff, why it's affecting us and why we're worried about cutting services, et cetera. So,
Does that help answer your questions?
Well, one of my other questions is, where it says FICA, IFRS, and other employee benefits increase, has the city employees ever been told no once in a while when it comes to a raise like we had to in our lifetime at our job when we didn't make any money?
Yeah, I just did it this year. They were proposing actually more this year that they would like to receive than what their negotiated was, and we told them no. I told them no.
You told them no,
Yep,
but who else
absolutely.
said no?
The entire council, we didn't approve it.
So this
Just
one-
wanted to answer you
The
directly.
other part doesn't pertain to it then. We're not paying for an increase on salary of employees in this?
Yes, we would, was the negotiated with their union, which, if you can help me out, please, on that.
So the police department's the only one that has a union related to
You're
that. But yeah, when we originally started talking about raises for salaries, for the city employees, we started at a 5% increase because I wanted to do as the city manager some merit increase as a portion of that, where they would get a certain percentage that everybody would get, and then a portion of it would be merit based on their performance. That performance piece has gone away. We've dropped that from 5%, we reduced it down to a 3% increase to try to save money, because we understand that their city's in a situation where we can't afford to do that right now.
That was my question on that one.
Okay.
When we were working and they didn't have money, we weren't said here. We weren't told here. We were told no.
I want to add, I can't stress how much I appreciate you guys being here and asking that question. We need more of that. Those chairs we want full for these meetings, so thank you very much for asking.
Absolutely.
And we always are in a hard situation between trying to hold a tight budget and retaining really good quality people in the positions that we have. And that's where a lot of our discussion kind of went with this past year when we were looking at budgets, is maintaining a really good workforce that really loves their job and loves what they do, and we don't lose them to another community, that they stay here and work for us versus,
I understand that.
hold a tight line.
That part, I totally get it. But when you have people in this community that are having a hard enough time paying property tax, I, as a tax preparer, see this state putting school district surtaxes onto our state tax. I'm thinking, is this a Governor Reynolds thing, saying, well, let's just start lowering our state tax, but yet hand it down to you guys? Is that
Yep.
where this whole thing
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Kind of a, pardon my French, poopy place to put us, you know,
right,
trying to
it
do the
puts
best
us
for the
in,
city.
yeah, it puts us in a really bad situation where we have to try to make up that difference. that-
And the legislature did it this week when they
Yeah.
broke the law initially and went over the date when they're supposed to give the school districts what they could spend. And then they came in with 2.5%, which is
Instead of-
below the rate, well below the rate of inflation. So, you know, there's additional problems there.
And they had to go ahead and make decisions based on what they were hoping they were going to get. I don't know how you turn around and fix some of that, but
And there's really no pushback as us, as a city to that? We just sit back and take it and say, okay, it is what it is?
we tried to talk to people before they ever made that decision, and it didn't go very far.
I've emailed, I've called, I've even been in Des Moines and been unable to meet with some of the people that represent us. So, and I haven't gotten any call back and I haven't gotten an email back. So that tells you how much.
They care.
It's pretty disappointing that as the mayor, I make phone calls to the representatives telling them I want to talk about this issue and don't get a phone call back. I mean, I would think that that would be something that at least I could get a call back.
Yeah, at least a courtesy.
And of course, we're not the only community, so I
Right.
would assume they're.
I'm
It's
assuming,
basically
we're-
a
yeah.
city.
As they're saying, I'm assuming we're not the only small town that is very frustrated and feeling the pain of all this. We want to try to maintain at least what we have, because I think we have a lot of really good things going for our community, and so that's been kind of our goal, is to maintain. It'd be lovely if we could grow, but right now, we're just striving to maintain. That's kind of where we're at.
And it's not just us as a city, the county has the same problem, and the school board has the same problem.
Yeah, I was at the county one
it-
this morning, they pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah. And we do our city-county school, who else is there? We
No,
do
that's it, joint
meet
session.
with them, and it was, I hate to say it, but it was a lot of gloom and doom from all parties involved. But we do try to meet together so that if there is some project that we have going on, we can partner with them and try to do some things that help each other out. And then just knowing that we're all in the same boat, we can kind of work through some of that and with them on some of our projects.
Okay.
How do you explain this? All the empty chairs.
Well, this, I can't explain it in terms of this, the levy, but hopefully we'll have more when the regular meeting starts in another 7 minutes or so.
That was a beautiful article in the.
Yeah, it was really well-written.
Thank you, Matt.
Very, very well read.
I might have made an accusation that he didn't write it, but.
What? No, that's
Yeah.
not true. He did write it.
But oftentimes, we don't have very many people, if anybody, here for our meetings, which is kind of sad. I would love to see more of the high school kids get involved in coming to
Wouldn't that be nice?
these meetings.
They know so much, they don't read it.
That's right.
Sad to say, but the complaints come after the votes usually, instead of their input before to help us.
Well, that's what I told her, there'll be no property tax chit-chat on my deck this year by the looks of this shares.
Unless they read the article, then maybe they'll have more of an understanding.
Yep.
So,
I asked at the senior center today, how many of you got that letter in the mail about the taxes? Some said maybe, some said no, some said yeah. Well, are you gonna show up at the meetings? Oh, no, was there, did you read it? No, don't understand it.
Right.
I said, it should be at these meetings to understand it.
Exactly right.
And ask questions.
and
And
I,
ask questions.
I believe Matthew's always had an open door policy for people who want to come in and visit with him and ask questions. I know he can't answer all the questions, but he can at least answer the city portion of things and kind of explain what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing.
So my last question on this, does that affect the tax break? These little pink things? Does that change any of this at the,
I'm not sure.
I don't know what you're,
thing
what,
is for the tax, property tax cut for low income?
Exemptions.
All the exemptions that,
those exemptions are separate from what we're talking about with the max levy. Yeah.
Anything to do with that?
I mean, those exemptions still exist. The things that the city does as far as setting our max rate, they don't, I mean, if those tax exemptions are there, they're there for ours as well. We can't exclude ourselves from them.
No, I wasn't asking if you were
Okay.
excluding. I said, does that affect any of the tax breaks that the seniors and low-income people sign up for at the,
I mean, the only effect that it would have on it, I don't know for sure as far as, there's a potential that it could. I don't know. I'd have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. It's hard to know that without looking at a person's individual situation related to those exemptions. But I mean, if there's a certain percentage of the tax that was exempt when we were at a 17 point, whatever the rate was before, the 17.25 that was last year's fiscal year, that exemption's still going to exist, even if we increase to the 19.5 like we've been talking about. I don't know if it's a percentage-based exemption, though. I would need to know the more specifics about it, though, to be able to tell you exactly what that looks like.
okay.
okay. If there's nothing further with regard to the tax levy, I'll now close the public hearing, and the city clerk will note the comments for the record. And then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. We're now adjourned as far as the special meeting goes.